Panago Pizza presents SDP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
I hope you're ready for a very spooky episode of the Steve Dangle Podcast in November, because that's when you're listening to this spooky November 1st.
No, shout out the No Sleep Squad. How dare you disrespect them? They'll be listening to that on Halloween Day.
That's true.
Shout out the West Coast.
True.
Also,
yeah.
why do you hate all those people? You hate.
I don't hate the No Sleep Squad.
You hate people who don't like when you sip Tim's in the microphone. You hate the West Coast. Why, like, you think you're so big with your Wendy's Instagram posts?
Tom Wilson. Don't forget Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson.
What?
Number one,
Oh yeah, you
number
hate
one
Tom
thing you
Wilson.
hate.
Is there a Tom Wilson squad that watches our videos?
Caps fans.
Caps fans, yeah.
Well,
But even Caps fans at this point are like, yeah, I mean, he deserved like 15 of those games.
nah, there's Caps fans and Caps fans. You know what I mean?
They're a pretty rational bunch. Caps fans are great. They're like Chicago fans. Or at least I haven't dealt with bad Chicago fans. Like
Blackhawks fans?
Hawks fans are pretty realistic. I mean, they're like us. They love their team, but
The one that confuses me the most is I know if I talk about the Oilers, it's going to be a bad time.
you tweeted that. Did you not tweet that earlier this week? They're like, oh,
Yeah. But then the confusing thing is when I talk about the Flames, it's like nothing.
yeah.
Like, what is it about that 3-hour drive that just makes you hate me? Like, just,
That's a good question.
I can't stand them.
I don't know what it is. Calgary's funny. By the way, did you see the charities thing that came out today?
The charities. Oh, that was terrible. Yeah, I did see
What
that.
happened?
Do you know how not surprising that is?
I'm
That
pretty
is
surprised.
pretty regular for sports teams. So I think it was the
Well-
Flames. Flames had the Flames charity gives the least to
Actual charity. So when you give money, like there's certain upkeep for charities, right?
Yeah.
So not all the money you give goes towards the charity necessarily.
and they can put it towards other things if they want.
yeah. So Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, or was it just the Leafs?
It was around 80%.
I think it was 79 cents on the dollar. And
For
they were-
every dollar donated, how many cents go to the cause? MLE's Foundation, 79 cents. Canucks
MLSE.
for Kids, 73 cents. Jays Care Foundation, 67 cents. True North Youth Foundation, True North is
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, thank you. 65 cents. Edmonton Oilers, 63. Montreal Canadiens Children Foundation, 62. Shout out PK. Ottawa Senators Foundation, 46 cents. Ooh.
That's a very steep drop off.
Calgary Flames Foundation, 30 cents.
Not surprised.
Wow.
Not surprised.
That's from
I gotta
a
tell you,
charity watchdog.
sometimes, I'm not, you know what, maybe Flames fans can
Right,
back
figure
me
it
up
out.
on this, but just from living there, the Flames sometimes really make it hard for you to cheer for the Flames.
Charity intelligence.
Really? Well, and they might be a big chunk of the show because there's
Yeah,
more.
there's lots about them to talk about, but
Yeah, wow.
I remember
none
being
of it's
there.
fun.
And
Either
this
it's
is-
all business crap.
Now, this is all information that's like, well, I don't know if we need to talk about the Olympics. Although
Except
it's-
they beat the Leafs. Too.
Yeah, and they had a great game against the Leafs, and we'll talk about that. But the interesting thing when I was on the area in Calgary was that what I wanted to do when I got to the city was like get involved with the sports teams, and because it's not Toronto big, it's Calgary big. Your opportunities to do things with local sports teams are a little bit easier, right? You
Yeah.
can get into things, you can work with team. Flames are not about that. And like even when it came
they're
to
the
like
big dog.
I brought a Calgary Flames jersey to my photo shoot. And my boss said, I'm sorry, you can't wear that for this. And I said, why? Like, I mean, we're in Calgary. Like, I'm gonna cheer for the Flames. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Doug Gilmour used to play here. I can cheer for the Flames.
Yeah.
And he said, no, we can't put that on the website because we tried that
Intellectual property?
and they'll come after you for,
That's
stamps.
fair.
The stamp, no.
What if you
can
said
take a
something
Leafs
on
jersey and put it literally anywhere. Steve had got a Leafs jersey on the front of his book.
No, but how difficult is that?
I jumped through hoops to get that.
Yeah, but that's for a book.
There are
This is
signed legal documents
a
out of
promotion.
March.
Promotional shoot.
Okay, say you're on the website wearing a Flames jersey.
I could put a Leafs jersey on and put it on any website right now. Leafs would not care. They would not.
You go on the radio.
When I was on Kiss and I had a Leafs jersey in the thing, they wouldn't care.
I know for a fact you are mistaken.
Yeah, I don't think
Wrong.
that's true at all. Okay, you're on the website in a Flames jersey. You say something on the air that gets you fired. Controversy. Picture of you in a Flames jersey all the time. They're protecting themselves. That's fair. That's not a good reason to rip them.
Yeah. Well, I do think
There was other stuff too that I can't talk about, but that's the
fair
easy
enough.
example.
I was like, wait, why is Adam so stuck on this? All right.
that's my public example.
All right, fair enough. But
They're just difficult.
it seems like most teams were in the 70s and 60s, which, okay, fine. if that's what most of them are, and I know there's a certain amount of upkeep, whatever, fine. The Sens and Flames are like, that's a sharp drop off. Like, okay, the Sens are a sharp drop off from the rest of the pack. The Flames are a sharp drop off from them.
Yeah.
That's concerning.
Well, and it's funny that this hasn't been more public. Like,
I haven't been on Twitter much today.
this is not even, the Flames number is not even the worst number that I've heard. And I won't reference the organization because I could get into a lot of trouble, but I know that there was a professional sports team in Canada that was doing 20 cents on the dollar. Up until recently. So
When they got caught, I'm guessing?
I don't think they got caught. I think they just knew they would get caught if they didn't change their game plan.
Yikes.
Because that stuff used to be not as
horrible.
available, right? Now it's readily available information. And so, this was a way for a long time for organizations to shelter their money.
Wow.
I mean, do you look at
That's so cynical.
Look at any
Holy-
corporate charity. The point is the tax break. As much as you hate, like, as much as they do want to help the thing that they're donating the money to, there is enormous tax breaks. There's enormous ways to hide bundles of money. And don't lie to yourself and pretend that corporations don't do it for that too.
So
It's fine on both ends. I'm fine with it.
So that's the cynical point of view. How about they want to actually give back to the community and do a good thing, and one of the perks they get for getting that is a tax break.
Sure.
How about that?
Well, sure. Six of one, half dozen of another. Fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I agree. I don't think that, and I'm not trying to rip the people that, I feel bad for the people that work for the Flames what's it called?
Flames Foundation, I think?
Flames Foundation?
The Flames?
Yeah.
Calgary Flames Foundation.
Because
I don't think they set that.
no, of course not. They work their butts off. They work so hard for community outreach with local organizations, and it's not fair to the people that work for that organization, that particular branch of the Flames organization. It's not fair to them when you have numbers like this come out. But it's not their
Right.
choice.
Right.
And this is the thing, like people go,
I don't think anyone's like, oh, the Flames charity.
Well, I saw people kind of going up like, how could you work for a charity like that? Well, you're trying to do charitable work and it's not up to you.
I could see, man, I went on Twitter and I saw someone have this irrational opinion. You don't say, Adam. Mm-hmm. You don't say.
Can I just throw in that the National Hockey League is also the last of the 4 sports leagues that is holding on to its not-for-profit status
Shocking.
when they file their taxes.
Shocking.
Wait, the NHL?
NHL's a not-for-profit. The NFL until recently was too. The NCAA isn't, aren't they? Or they used to be, and then they
They fall
came
under
to-
different restrictions because they're universities, right?
I'm sorry.
Right, and
But,
they don't pay any taxes either.
I'm sorry.
But the NHL is still the last of the 4 leagues that is a not-for-profit charity organization.
Yeah.
I don't know if charity is the right term, but yeah, they file their taxes as a not-for-profit organization. There you go.
How do you sleep at night?
In your millions of dollars, man.
I am so.
I know.
I'm
I think
you're
actually.
sleeping all right.
How do you sleep at night?
I would get a California king bed.
Yeah.
And,
And just have Rihanna playing in the background
Oh my
over and
God,
over again.
yes.
No.
I'd
Why
write-
not? Hey, you're fucking rich. Just get Rihanna to perform in your bedroom.
there
Why
you go.
Under my umbrella. How do you sleep at night saying you're not for profit when you have had 3 lockouts? You evil devil people.
That's,
Oh my God.
You know, Jesse, should we tell Steve that business makes people evil? It's like by its nature, in a lot of ways, it does.
How do you
it's
sleep?
either evil or that's just how business works.
That's just how business is.
Yeah.
Steve.
No,
just
fuck that.
it was
hold on. Also, I just want to make sure that you're just talking into the microphone directly.
Sorry, yeah, this is a new one.
I know.
It was 2015 that the NFL dropped their not-for-profit stats.
Right.
In 2007 when MLB dropped theirs, and NBA and NASCAR have always filed as for-profit companies. There you go. But the NHL
Not for profit.
clinging on.
3 collective bargaining agreement lockouts. You just makes me sick. Just oh
I'm
my
sure
God.
Jeremy Jacobs is out there donating all the proceeds from the Boston Bruins' various wins.
Freaking just makes me sick. Oh my God.
I just bring up Jeremy Jacobs.
I wish
I
you
could
hadn't
be
told
any
me that.
owner.
I did not know that. That's interesting. I thought it was only the NFL.
No, they're not even. They're for-profit.
It's
now.
funny though. The NFL's one was, and I think because Goodell took so much heat a couple years ago, that was they had so much pressure on them that they had to do it.
It was public pressure that made them change. Yeah.
I don't think the NHL. That's never. I didn't know that. The NHL, there's no public pressure there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that you have to have an enormous amount of people following a sport before there can be enormous pressure. And let's be honest, the NHL is 4th or 5th.
I'm so upset.
Are you really? Yeah. So
I'm doing my job well.
So in the Olympic bid today with Calgary, and this is where the reason I said earlier that Calgary makes the Flames sometimes make their organization very tough to cheer for.
Yeah, let's talk about how that city might lose their NHL team just in time for the next lockout for the not-for-profit organization. Oh!
Well, that's
if I could kick a corporation in the chest.
Steve, that's
why.
Are
you joking me?
That's why they need public money, though, because they're a charitable organization.
What?
What I love about this is and I'm sure Flames fans would agree with me on this one. I think the bullshit thing going into the last mayoral election that we talked about a lot at the time, which was we're going to move the team, we're going to move the Calgary Flames and rip up 30 years of heritage just because we can't get a new arena from the city, which Flames fans, rightfully so,
were Eric Francis in studio on several shows yesterday.
They were super pissed about it because out there, it's a notoriously conservative audience that believes that private organizations should pay for their own private stuff. There shouldn't be public-private unless it's like roads and schools and stuff like that. It's an interesting different side of Canada. And I found it hilarious today, A, that they're in on the Olympics, B, that one of the stipulations of the Olympic funding is a new hockey arena.
So, okay, I was wondering about that.
I thought for a second your Adidas hockey sweater would have an NHL logo on it.
Oh, that would have been great. But what's hilarious about...
I'll still give them my money. I like their product, but what the actual hell?
But what's hilarious about it is it's not a new arena for a hockey team. It's a 5,000-seat arena. Mm-hmm. So they're going to put a new arena in Calgary.
That's the big sticking point
but they're not going to put a new hockey arena in. It's going to be a hockey arena, but it'll be only 5,000 seats. Yeah. That's what the public is willing to put forward.
Yeah. Don't they already have what's the Hockey Canada arena? Because I think it's at least a couple thousand seats.
I think the Hitmen would have played. No, the Hitmen played.
I've been there. I went there in 2012. Whenever the World Juniors were there, I went before the tournament when they named the team. I think Mark Scheifele was on that team, so it was a little while ago now. Brendan Gallagher, Braden Shen. Yeah. What? I had no idea. So here's what I assumed when I saw that news, that Calgary was so gung-ho for this bid, and also the team still needs an arena. The city has not wanted to put money into the arena because the city, doesn't want to pay for it or whatever. Now, if you get the Olympics and all those tourist dollars, whatever, coming in, maybe there's extra incentive to, all right, we'll give more money to the cause of getting a new arena. We need one anyway, and it'll be better for the Olympics.
And we can work with the Flames on this.
But they're trying to build something that's not even as big as like the Tribute Community Center in Oshawa.
Yeah.
For the Olympics.
Yeah.
So wait, Canada-Russia gold medal game.
5,000 people. Imagine how expensive those tickets will be.
You're having a laugh.
Well, you're
having a laugh.
The reason is that the Flames and the city of Calgary basically hate each other at this point.
Dude, the Calgary Hitmen, the WHL team, would not play there. Jesse, I don't know. I have no idea if this information would be available. Can you look up WHL
attendance?
Yeah, attendance.
I'm sure it would be.
The Hitmen have sold out the Saddle Dome several times.
I went to a few Hitmen games. Great.
Don't they usually hold the teddy bear toss game in the Saddle Dome?
Yeah.
And it just looks like the Persians raining arrows on the Spartans. It's just unbelievable.
Teddies will blot out the lights, not the sun.
The Edmonton Oil Kings actually lead the league in attendance last season with 8,154.
That's really
fans
good.
drawn each game. The Calgary Hitmen come in second place with 7,579 fans.
That's an average.
You're
but yeah.
That's under 66%. Oh my God, you're having a laugh.
So that's the whole point, though. Mm-hmm. That's why they did it. They did it to poke at the Flames to say, listen, you guys didn't want to work with us last year. Now we're going to go do this and go fuck yourselves.
Is it maybe the Flames want a 20,000 seat arena? And this is the city's very literal way of saying, well, we'll pay for a quarter.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
we'll pay for 5,000.
Mouse. I think eventually someone's giving on one end either way. Either they're getting a full NHL arena or they're not.
Yeah.
And one side's going to.
And so they'll never build the 5,000 seat arena. They're never going to build. They're politicking.
Yeah.
They're politicking. And we're getting sucked in. And that's the way it is. And so this is what I mean, though. Like in Calgary, as a Flames fan, you're probably a little pissed with the city. You're probably very pissed with the Flames for threatening to move.
Or vice
And at least I would be. And you sit there and you go, can you guys just figure this shit out? Like, because the Flames, but the Flames want like the Atlanta Braves bullshit deal, which is like the public pays for everything and they get a special tax thing and it's ridiculous. And the city's like, no, we're not going to give you that. We'll pay for part of it. We'll help you. We understand that there's civic things that will occur there that are outside of the Flames, but we're not going to pay for the whole thing. And that's the thing. Calgary, the Flames organization was asking for too much, way too much. Calgary would have had to dip into cutting their education and healthcare to pay for this arena, which, by the way, I think happened in Pittsburgh. I think they had to do that. Something happened in Pittsburgh where they had to do that. Atlanta's just signed
Pittsburgh
a horrendous deal.
Which sport?
I believe it wasn't it the Penguins?
The Penguins arena?
I thought it was. I don't know if it was Heinz.
It was
because I think that
is it PPG Paints?
I think it's PPG Paints.
Is that Penguins? I hate so deeply that we're still talking about this. Like, wasn't this like a year and a half ago?
I know.
We were talking about
what we could talk about that you would love?
What?
The fact that it's Selly season!
I was like, okay, which one's he going to? There it is.
Spooky Selly season, even though it's November, mostly when you're watching this. Listen, we want to see your Sellies. There might be something in it for you. Just throwing that out there. In fact, there's definitely something in it for you. We're going to put at the end of the week, we're going to take all the Sellies that we've seen so far. We're going to montage them in a video. And we may just have to pick the best one. So just make sure that we are seeing your Sellies. Use the hashtag Selly, C-E-L-L-Y. I've seen a couple S's. Hashtag CELLYSZN. Tag Budweiser Canada. Tag Steve. Tag Jesse. Tag myself.
What were those last three letters?
S-Z-N.
Z.
Season.
Z. I like it.
Z.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make
our mark
the Americans very upset.
And imagine we all said, like when we're going to bed, we just said Z, Z, Z. You know,
and it's just in a cloud above our face.
Z, 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 Z.
I don't know why we have to be difficult with the Z or the. I just said Z-E-D, like to spell Z.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, the original pronunciation is Z, comes from England. The language we speak.
How do you know that?
Did England invent English?
Strangely enough, it did.
Or were they named after English?
I saw this is so stupid, but I was looking at...
named by a French guy named Frank English.
I was looking at something the other day, and it had instructions in a few different languages, and it's like, Cantonese, Mandarin, German, French, and then it had an American flag, an American? I'm like... No. Come on, man. You can't just take the language. I mean, the language came from where the language came from.
No, put the Union
That's
Jack.
like Mexico going Spanish. Not actually, it's Mexican now. Thank you.
Yeah.
So there.
Now we're about to learn that there's dialects.
Oh, of course. Here we go. Yeah, bring it on.
Like
bring it on.
American and the Brits. They sound the same, and they all talk the same.
Is the English you speak in Texas the same as the English you speak in Halifax?
And I can't wait to get 45 tweets about it. I'm so excited.
The tweets are rolling in.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of dialect. I'm doctor of dialect. I bet there is a person listening to the show who specializes in languages and could tell us for sure. So maybe that instruction manual is right.
See, Adam's like, I want to hear from an expert, and I'm like, the other day, I YouTubed a video of 25 British accents and found it very entertaining.
I follow this YouTube channel or subscribe to a YouTube
Steve
channel
Dangle, subscribe!
Called CP Gray, and they just explain weird stuff like what's the difference between London and the city of London? Because there's London, and then there's the city of London that's in London, and it goes back like 600 years, and it's super complicated. And then like today, it was like who owns the Statue of Liberty? It was like, wow,
who does?
I didn't get to watch it yet.
Now I'm frustrated.
Isn't that interesting?
Off the top of your head, can you tell me the difference between the UK, Britain, and England?
Yes.
Go.
England,
Dr. Wild.
My wife's from Scotland and I couldn't.
Hey, so Britain is the islands, the two islands.
What two islands?
So is it like Ireland, Greater Ireland, whatever they call it?
And so that's a geographical. From what I understand, that's a geographical it's almost like Silesia is part of Poland and part of Germany.
No,
you know what I mean?
don't.
Like the
How do you know Silesia?
I've literally never heard of
You could have
that.
made up
Balkans
the
are 5
word
different countries.
Silesia, and I couldn't have questioned you on that.
What is Silesia? Tell me right
part
now.
of Poland.
Don't just say part of
What
Poland.
is
Where?
Silesia?
It would be south of. Now, forgive me. There's going to be some people that call me on this. My understanding is it's
Silesia.
literally underneath Finland.
made that up.
Basically across the Baltic Sea, under Finland and Sweden. It's like that Poland and Germany and all that area. Anyway.
Elias Silesia also playing left wing for the Panthers.
So you said, hold on, it was great. What was it? Great Britain?
4th round pick.
So there's the
2012.
British Isles,
Silesia.
which are the two islands, right?
Yeah, so England,
Britain,
UK,
Britannica.
and Britain.
Or Britannia or whatever.
So yeah, Britain's a different thing, right?
So Great Britain or United Kingdom is Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and England, and those are the United Kingdoms. They
And
were
those
all
are all
separate
countries.
kingdoms. They were all separate countries that united together, almost like the United States, but a lot older and a lot more complicated.
Here, wait, guys.
Okay.
I got an answer. Salisha LaShawn Stowers is an American actress and model. She is best known for being the winner of season 9 of American's Next Top Model. Sorry, that was
Not
the first
from
thing
Poland.
that came up.
And then England is just literally the kingdom of England.
I give up.
As it originally was, which is the south end. Scotland and Wales would be cut off from it.
So no Scotland
Damn right.
and no Wales.
No Scotland, no
They get
Wales.
to- okay.
Oh, they'd be super pissed if you called Scotland England.
Okay.
They would be, and the Welsh people. Oh my God, they would lose their minds. England is just sort of the southern boot, and then right up to Northumbria, I think, and then
Don't look at me.
like Liverpool, Manchester would be two of the more northern cities, and then it
Okay.
cuts off at Wales, and then it cuts off at Scotland.
When I first started dating my wife, I met her father, and the topic of traditional Scottish attire came up, and we got to the little knife, which I didn't know what it was called at the time. Apparently, it's a skeen do. I learned that.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, and while talking about the outfit, I go, "What's a skeen do even for?" And her father, this is like the first or second time I've ever met him, calmly goes, "Kill an Englishman."
That's the most Scottish answer.
So I'm like, fair enough. Well, I'll be as Italian as possible with her then.
I love British humor.
Oh yeah,
It's the best.
it's very dark, very dry, very quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how we got to this. How did we get to this?
Sally season.
Silesia.
Sally season. Silesia. Silesia. Very important.
Silesia. Gee, I'm not good with that. I'm
But
not
yeah,
even gonna try.
so Sally season, just make sure you send us your, use the right hashtag, tag us in the videos. We've seen some great ones already. I actually got an email from Jessica, who's our Budweiser rep, and who we obviously worked with on this, and she said your listeners are so funny. She's like,
Right.
they're genuinely blown away by the content of these videos. So thank you so much. Keep them coming. If you've already submitted one, submit another. The more, the merrier. We don't care. There's no limit here, and it's literally just set up a camera and watch your team play.
Also, you get to be featured on our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Which is sick.
and there could be something else. In fact, there is something else. There's something else I can't tell you about. But it's trust me, you want to do this.
Dinner
You
with
and your
Steve.
cheese.
Dinner with Steve at Steve's house, made by Steve. It's a meeting.
Never mind. I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. I'm not
Not
even
a
gonna do it.
barbecue, it's a meeting.
Oh, this is perfect. I was about to shout out everyone who's a subscriber of our YouTube channel because I just like to thank you.
You're gonna go through all 25,000 of them?
Yes, I'm going to read them all aloud. I want to thank you for getting us to 25,000 subscribers. But right now, our current number, 25,069.
I thought you were gonna say 67.
No, that'd be no. I'm going to screenshot it and send it to
69.
Jesse
Nice.
because you need proof.
That's nice.
It's so nice.
Nothing like being
nice.
25 with a 69.
Prepare to be updated at
a good year.
25,420. It's the weed number. The cannabis number.
You can say that now.
You can say that now.
Okay, this is completely off topic from hockey, but
Here, go ahead and say that.
is it Adam?
Weed.
We don't go off topic from hockey at all.
tell me more about the Balkans.
Tell me more about Silesia.
Talk about the Balkans every day.
Caprice and I. Caprice is my wife, by the way. I don't mention that enough. Caprice, the other day, started talking. We're talking about weed, but we weren't calling it weed. We were calling it cannabis.
Why?
And I
amongst yourselves?
looked at her. I was like, I got to stop you right there. I'm like, we are calling this cannabis now. What the hell is wrong with us? And she's like, we're getting old. I'm like, we're not that old. We're 30. Come on. We cannot call this cannabis. But I think because it's been used so much that now, like, it was like
who are you talking to? Who's
in their
saying
commercials. I'm watching Tim and Sid and I'm seeing cannabis commercials with the lawyer going,
It
well,
is
you must limit
illegal.
your use.
It is illegal to drive under the influence of cannabis.
Yeah. Yeah, those Government of Canada commercials, if you're in the States, you're missing some beauty, terrible commercials. Because I wish they were posted online. I'm not sure that they are. But it's like they literally take like old lawyer and psychologist and other people, and they have these like random people walking up into the like in a mall, and then they sit down and they go, "Why is Canada legalizing weed?" Obviously, it's to make piles of money off the tax revenue,
commercials,
but they don't say that.
The commercials might as well be, "It's pretty bad for you, but here you go."
Yeah, which is what alcohol is. Pretty bad for you.
Pretty bad for you. Yeah,
Here you go.
Literally poison. Here you go. Like,
Yeah, it's funny that for the longest time, alcohol was the only mind-altering substance available legally, and now cannabis is the second. But it's a mind-altering substance. Apparently, that's like a big.
I would say things like coffee
coffee.
and candy. And many of the things that are regular in your everyday life
Spooky candy.
Ooh.
Spooky. Ooh,
are
it's
also
Halloween.
mind altering.
Spooky Twix. Anyway, let's get. So the Leafs and Flames. Flames.
Probably worst game of the season, I think.
Yeah, 100%. That was worse than the Ottawa game. Flames had a great game. They had a great game.
They not even sure I agree.
Really?
Yeah, because I think the Leafs did their absolute damnedest to make them look good. There were so many opportunities where I'm like, lunge for it. Like, give it a little bit extra.
You were a little mad.
They weren't crisp. I didn't know. The Flames didn't seem crisp to me at all. And the Leafs, for all their efforts, were worse.
Did they seem soggy?
Far worse. Yeah, they were. Man, did you
I wish
watch my
Jesse was on
LFR?
mic for that. I thought he would appreciate it.
Did you watch my LFR?
I did watch your album. You were pissed.
I was pissed. And did you see the part where I said, I hope the Leafs go out after this game and they order nachos, and when the nachos come, all the chips are soggy? I was mad at them. I was mad at them. And like, it had to be in the most humiliating way possible. Because when we thought Hyman tied the game, part of me was like, oh, that's amazing. The other part of me was like, they're not going to learn anything from this. They're not going to learn anything from this performance. But instead, they get humiliated on national television on Sportsnet's Wednesday Night Hockey on a Monday. That confused a lot of people. Branding. And the puck didn't go in.
Yeah.
The damn puck didn't go in. I shot a video today. Steve's, you know how I have Steve's hat picks for the top 3 plays of the week?
Yeah.
Hat picks. I have Steve's dangets for the misplays. Steve's dangets.
What have we done? What have we done to you?
You've created a beautiful, handsome monster is what you've done.
Well, okay.
And that is one of them.
So what I thought when I was watching the Flames game is, you're going to have dead games. You're going to have games. Any team is going to have them where, especially younger teams too, I find like when the older guys, you see the older guys, they have less time in their career. So they're kind of like, I better get this done, Whereas the younger guys sometimes are like, I got a couple of years. It'll be all right. And there's times where they come out, and the Leafs are famous for this, they come out dead, but they stayed dead.
They stayed dead the whole time.
And I'm not going to freak out about it. Like I saw, I was laughing. Sid Sixero had like this. He flipped out, and Tim's like, Sid, they're like number 2 in the NHL. They're okay.
They're still 8-4.
His
Yeah.
argument was to literally show the Eastern Conference standings and the Leafs at number 1.
Yeah, it was like
It was awesome.
See, it's like Sid, it's one game, but he's like, but if it becomes 3 and 4 games, then it's an issue.
It's amazing, though. They've only had 4 losses all season. In 2 of them, they didn't even look like an NHL team. Like, it was...
Would you, Ottawa?
No.
Oh, I thought they sucked against Ottawa.
That
so
sucked,
mad.
but they were in it. You're going to lose some games. St. Louis was terrible.
Oh, that was a bad game.
That was terrible. And at least through 40, they showed up in the third. Flames didn't even show up in the third.
No.
Their first shot wasn't until like halfway through the frame.
When I didn't understand, Jesse, I'm sorry to.
I was just gonna ask how much of the Leaf sucking has to do with Par Lindholm and Frederic Gauthier being your 3 and 4 center.
None.
None?
I say none.
None?
Lindholm's a fine player. Gauthier doesn't bring much to the table, but at very least he's not a liability.
He doesn't fuck up.
Yeah,
Sure.
they do got to do better than him. Well, they are going to do better than him. Per Lindholm. I think Lindholm's a fine player.
I was just.
I will say,
Sorry, was it Ennis when you were on with him who was saying that
Dennis?
Gauthier doesn't bring anything?
It was both of them. Both.
Yeah.
It was, so when I was on with Ennis and Bunkus on Good Show on Friday.
but that's not necessarily a positive.
Right. And
Because-
what I said to them, though, was
Yeah.
at least Frederic Gauthier's not a liability, which last year and the year before, their fourth line was a liability every time it hit the ice.
banging it, crashing on the forecheck, but like when he gets
On the
puck,
forecheck. Oh,
it's-
him. Oh.
it's dead.
Yeah.
It's dead.
Yeah,
Like,
and
the
listen-
fourth line. What the fourth line has been good at this season is tying the puck up in the offensive zone. They've been good at that, but like,
And isn't that all you can ask for from like? What are you asking for?
Yes, you can, because we thought coming into the season the fourth line was going to be Andreas Johnsson, Per Lindholm, Kasperi Kapanen. Now, obviously, things change, but like night in, night out, that line should be better. It should be a consistent, good defensive line, but also consistent offensive threat. And the second Gautier's out of the lineup, I think it will be. What I do want to say is I am tired of going to bat for players and having them let me down.
So who's the player?
I'm tired of it. No, this has happened over the years.
This is a personal thing.
It is a personal thing. I feel affronted. No, but it has happened. It has happened a few times in recent memory where I've been like, you know what? Actually, everyone go easy on this player. Mm-hmm. And then a couple games pass from the moment I say that, and I'm like, what? I'm sorry. Why did I do that? Connor Brown he's light on that one. Okay, I still like his game, but again, I'm like, where's the puck's never gonna go in? Like, he bangs and crashes. He does this one spin move where he bangs into the guy and spins off, and he looks toward the front of the net and maybe makes an outlet pass. It just hasn't been there at all this season. Boy, the moment I defended Patrick Marleau, he started to just look old.
Dude,
he started
I said
to
it
look
earlier.
old.
He's looked invisible, man.
Yeah.
Invisible. I don't care. I said it from the beginning. I felt like, this is not. I thought Patrick Marleau was going to be at least, if he was 90% of the Patrick Marleau he was last year, we're fine.
And what excuse? He was with Matthews when Matthews was pistol hot. And then what was the makeup? They put him with
Mark Hadmar.
They reunited the Mark Hadmar line, which was so amazing last year. And granted, they didn't
give it a
even
couple
stick
games
together the first game or the full game. But yeah, all season he's either played with Matthews or Kadri. There's no excuse left for wingers on this team, really, for not performing.
Yeah, and
even with Matthews,
I wonder about that too. Like, this has been sort of disappointing that way. And one of the things that frustrated me against Calgary, Mike Smith is literally the lowest of the low going in.
He's bad.
How is your strategy not throw everything at that net?
Throw every sack of garbage. There were so many
45
times,
shots.
There were a couple times throughout the game, like Riley had one in the third where he just throws this benign muffin at the net, and with a couple bounces, it could have gone in. Almost did. Mike Smith, what I noticed, because I saw the highlights from the Pittsburgh ass kicking, which, I don't know, that's going to happen. What stuck out to me from that game was how Pittsburgh did not take their foot off the pedal at all. I can't believe there weren't more fights, because they did not take it off. It was so great. The Flames score this random floater to make it 8-1, and then with it was 30 seconds later, a minute and a half left, puck gets passed in front of the net, and Matt Cullen, just with every muscle fiber in his body,
this could be my last goal.
Blasted it into the net. Like, man, you're up 8-1. Chill. He makes it 9-1.
Now,
but in the game against Washington, when they actually looked much better defensively, they looked like a much better team. Mike Smith spent half the game on his stomach. He's just an absolute fish out of water. I don't know how they didn't get more on net. It was brutal.
Well, and that should be your strategy. And if you didn't execute on that, which is the thing the Leafs are supposed to be good at, throwing shots at the net, then you've got to really kind of reconsider. Now, again, it is one game. It is 1 week of a very long season. It's a small sample size. But can we agree that when the Leafs look good, they look great? When they look average, they look bad.
Fair.
And great teams, when they look average, are still better than most teams. So the Leafs still have to take that next step to be a great team. This is what I was talking about earlier with that kill switch, man.
Get a couple lucky wins.
Shut the games down, and that they have won games that they shouldn't have won. Shut the games down that you should win. Take over. And then the other thing is that whole even when I'm average, I'm better than you. When Sidney Crosby is average, he's still top 5 player in the world.
Remember when,
other than it's top 2 player in the world.
The moment we had the torch conversation, he became the best player in the league.
Yeah, that's amazing.
He's unbelievable. He was the first star of the week after
Don't
that.
bet against him. Now, everybody's freaking out about Matthews being out. Everybody's talking about, oh boy, what are the Leafs going to do? Nylander's got all this leverage, and we'll get to Nylander in a second. But the Leafs, forgive me for if I'm wrong here, with two centers, one of them far less good than the centers they have now, last year did just fine without him. The Leafs have to learn. This year's Leafs have to learn to play without Matthews. And I'm going to throw this out there, and this is going to be a hot-ass take. So get ready. Spicy.
Warm that bottom.
I don't want Matthews to be hurt. I don't want him to be out of the lineup. But I think this is good for the team.
You think it'll maybe teach him a little bit?
I think it will draw. More will be asked. I think they were resting on their laurels a little bit. I think it was like, well, hey, listen, let's not screw with this. We're winning, even though two guys are scoring most of the goals here, and we've got one defenseman getting most of the assists. I honestly believe that this is when your stars are out, you find out what the team's made of.
Right, a little bit. Yeah, and the Pittsburgh Penguins, their answer a couple years ago was Stanley Cup champions.
Perfect example. They are the best example of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think this is good. I want to see what these guys have. And if they don't have it,
even the Predators with Dick All up front pretty much still pushed the Penguins to 6.
Willed their way.
Everyone was out.
Yep.
It was brutal. They still had their defense.
So I wonder what we're going to see out of the Leafs players, and I don't think we've seen that yet. The Flames game I don't think is regular Leafs. I just don't.
Why are they so shit at home?
I think it's just the way the cookie has crumbled so far. I don't think it matters. They've played 7 games at home. Who cares?
I'm a little bit scared for their first Matthews-less road game.
Well, they've been good on the road, though.
They've been great on the road, but I think part of that is because they've had such this great ability to roll 4 lines. And now all of a sudden that becomes more difficult.
Well, but this is not Mike Babcock had no lines the first year he was here. And then last year he had 2 lines a lot of the year because Matthews was out and they didn't have a 4th line. He's only ever had 3 lines to roll anyway until this season.
Putting it though.
So I think Mike Babcock can figure that out. He's paid $6 million a year. That's his job.
Does Matthews being injury prone concern either of you?
It's not injury prone.
No.
He's not injury prone.
No. And I made a whole video basically about this. So he's got a concussion.
I have to pee.
Did you make a video?
I did.
Do you make videos?
Do you make videos?
I make videos sometimes.
Did you write a book? Does it have
did.
A cover?
This team's ruining my life, but I love them. Available on ECW, Amazon. Okay, he left the room. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, injury prone. So 3 injuries. The concussion was an accidental collision with a teammate.
This is last year's injury.
This is last year.
Yeah, okay.
There was something with his back, and that was from prior to his NHL days, so I won't throw that in there.
That's before he even signed with the Leafs or was drafted.
There was the shoulder injury last year, and that's when he got hit by 2 guys at once. And then there was this one. This is the one where I'm like, okay, that was a little bit of a dumb play, where he drove the net clearly into a lane where he was going to get lit up. Trouba hit him perfectly, perfect hit, and it was the other shoulder. So I don't know if I would call him injury prone. Also, so I guess you haven't seen this video.
Your video?
Yes.
No.
So let's play a guessing game, Jesse. And you tell me if you would want this. Oh, I don't remember all the stats from the video. Here, I'm going to tell you about a player. Okay? After last night, so there's your first clue. They played last night. Their team will have played 960 regular season games since this person was drafted. 13 seasons. 960 games. This person has only played in 794 of them, meaning they've missed 166 games, which is roughly 18% of their NHL career. So they're only playing in 4 out of every 5 games on average in their NHL career. Would you call that person injury prone? Maybe depends on the severity and the length of the injuries.
Yeah, depending on the injuries, maybe.
But consider that hockey season is 82 games. So if you've missed
how
100,
much are they averaging per season?
We'll put it this way: 166 games is 2 full seasons plus 2 more games. So they've missed 2 seasons, 2 full seasons in 2 games.
Yeah.
And they have 3 Stanley Cups.
Patrick Kane.
No.
Jonathan Toews.
No. Evgeny Malkin.
Evgeny Malkin. Oh,
Evgeny Malkin. And again, you go Evgeny Malkin.
Sorry.
He's not even the player you think of when you think of Pittsburgh injuries.
Sure.
A lot of people automatically go to Sidney Crosby. And that's sort of why I picked Evgeny Malkin. And also, I just feel like a bit of a similar situation to Matthews. And also, like, no equity. Like, just nothing. He plays 82 games in his first season. We don't care. And he played through an injury in those playoffs, and that's why we go, oh.
Has Malkin missed more games than Crosby over his career?
Crosby
That is a good question. I don't
Crosby
know.
missed half a season or more with a concussion.
Yeah. See, Crosby, I think, has had, I don't know if this makes sense. Crosby has been out fewer times than Malkin, but may have accumulated more games. Does that make sense?
Yeah, longer,
Do you know what I
longer
mean by-
periods on the deal. On the deal. You know what I mean? LTR.
Malkin might have had more shorter injuries.
Yeah.
Crosby had fewer
Nagging,
longer
tiny, yeah.
injuries. Yes.
I think
Still makes his 9.5 and is still worth it.
Nazem Kadri's been one of the most effective and the most consistent players on the Leafs this year.
3 straight games with a goal.
I think
He had a bad first 3 games. That was literally it.
yeah, exactly. People are like, "Oh, when is he going to score?"
And not even bad, just ineffective.
Or not even ineffective. He was effective as a player. He just didn't score.
I would argue in the 3 games he's actually scored in, the 3 straight he's actually scored in, he's done more bad things than he did previously.
Right.
Taking more penalties, giveaways and such.
I'm
But
excited.
he's got his 3 goals.
I'm excited that he's gonna. I'm really excited that he is going to.
Shut a lot of people's mouths.
Well, yeah, and I'm excited that he's going to get some more ice time.
Yeah, I think he is too.
Because if he's going and Tavares is going and Matthews comes back and he gets going, they can get going with more. Sometimes you need a little more ice time. Sometimes you need a little more breathing space to go, okay, I'm not going to be waiting on I had a bad shift. Now I'm not going to be waiting 4 or 5 minutes to get back on the ice again. So I think that'll be really, really cool. One thing I am worried about, I'm worried. It's October 31st when we record this. I'm worried.
With Willie.
I'm worried about
I just
Willie.
don't understand what the holdup is anymore.
Well,
I don't get it.
So here's the question then.
I'm done.
If they're both deadlocked and if Willie wants 8 and Dubas wants 6.5, let's just say that's it. Is $1.5 million going to kill you? And before anybody answers on this, people are like, well, the Leafs are going to be in a cap situation. Sure. Any good team will be. Leafs are going to have this much money locked up to this many players and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And you can't pay all the superstars. Well, what I would do if this were my team is go, and you do have to draw a line in the sand. I understand what Kyle Dubas is doing. He's got to win this in some sort of way. If you are $2 million over the cap, then you trade Connor Brown. If you are $2 million over the cap, then you trade Zach Hyman. You keep the superstars.
That's the casualty.
That's the casualty. And I think we're going to have to get used to that idea. If Kasperi Kapanen wants $5 million next season, I don't think he will. But if he does, sorry,
He's
man.
not here.
No, you're not going to get that
That
here.
may be the ask,
And
but
that's-
it'll go down.
But that's the point I'm trying to make here is that is the $1.5 million really going to make that much of an issue? And I know they want to
So
retain.
You're saying the Leafs should just do it.
I think at a certain point, if the choice is buckle or trade him, buckle.
Wow.
Wow. I don't know.
Can I bring up 2 things?
Yes.
One, if you take away Sidney Crosby's first season, because Malkin started a year after him, he has played 93 games.
That's Malkin or Crosby?
That's Crosby. Malkin has played 794 games.
Oh, that's crazy.
So they're 1 game off of each other if you take away Crosby's first season where Malkin wasn't in the league. Fun fact.
Oh, wow. So Crosby has then missed a lot more time.
No, 1 game difference.
No, but he's missed more time because he started a full season before Malkin.
No, but I
Right.
took away that season.
Oh.
So I took off the 81 games he played in his first career season.
Oh, you took it. Okay, I understand.
I'm starting since 06, 07, or since 05, 06 when they're both in the league.
Yeah.
If you take away Crosby's first league, 05, 04, or 04, 05.
No,
Since-
0405 was the lockout.
Yes.
Malkin was picked that year. Crosby was picked in 2005. Crosby started in 2005.
Yes.
Malkin started in 2006. So you're
Yes.
taking away Crosby's 05-06 season.
Yes.
Gotcha.
They have played 1 game off each other to wrap our discussion from when that.
That's a
That's interesting. I would not have thought
yeah,
that.
they play the exact same amount of games.
That's crazy.
yeah.
And
Interesting amount of
Pittsburgh has nothing to show for it.
SN Jesse stats. Am I right?
Hashtag. And then for Nylander, can I read the weekly update from Elliot Freeman?
Yes, I have it here, but you read it.
31 thoughts?
31 thoughts.
THOTS.
Fun fact, there was 31 thoughts this week in 31 thoughts.
In the actual podcast?
No, in the article,
Oh.
he had 31 of them this week. Yeah.
Is that
Actually, he normally has like
unusual, or-
35. So that would be weird. He's got the opening paragraph that's about as long as a book, and then
giant, full ass, long article. Oh, and also here's 31 thoughts.
yeah, exactly.
It's a deadlock, he says.
Yeah.
Neither side is moving. I don't think Toronto is ready to trade him yet, but they know it's time to start considering what could be out there. It's not a coincidence Kyle Dubas's travels took him to see Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Minnesota, and Carolina, all of whom could be a fit. It also wouldn't be a surprise if Toronto targeted teams it believes are a fit instead of going public with a sale sign. There you go.
So,
Right.
so,
That-
here's-
yeah.
so this is my thought is if it's $1.5 million to trade someone else, trade Brown, Bracco in a second
Yeah.
for whatever. The
am-
next thought I have,
More inclined to believe that, Adam. Yeah.
more inclined to believe that. The next thought I have, and I'm going to pose this question to both of you, and then I want to hear your thoughts too. If you do trade them, if that's the route they decide to go, what's a win look like? Because you got to get a win here. Now, first part though is how do you think this ends? Do you think he signs? Do you think they just go
Yeah.
fuck it and sign him?
Yes, because I trust that William Nylander has a brain in his head. I guess, I don't know, maybe I'm getting in my feelings because the Leafs are my team. But based on what we've heard, which granted could be a lot of nonsense, could be
complete
planted by
bullshit.
the team, planted by the player, planted by the agent, etc. He doesn't want to get traded. So if he doesn't want to get traded, then he will put himself in a position to not be traded. And he wants to stay in Toronto. Or sorry, it was if he doesn't want to be traded, what was the other one?
He wants to. Well, he wants to not be the guy that gets traded in a couple years.
Yes,
Basically.
and then what was the other one? Oh, and he wants long term.
Yeah.
I just
What's $1
do you
million
want
and
to
a
win
half?
or not? You want to win or not?
You're asking Willie this?
Yeah, like okay.
I would ask the Leafs the same.
Do you want to win? Okay, good. So do we. So your number needs to come down from 8 because we're not going to win.
Here's the thing: you'd be surprised about this, based on the way Leafs Nation reacts to him. Guys like Nikita Zaitsev, guys like Connor Brown, guys like Zach Hyman, guys.
The Zaitsev's contract's so bad.
There's interest in Zaitsev. There's a market for Zaitsev. If you needed to unload that contract, you could tomorrow.
So you're saying
You
to
think
the
I'm
Leafs,
crazy. I'm
if
not.
you want to win, sign him for $8 million.
Just fucking sign him. Sign him. Guess what? The cap has gone up almost $10 million in the last 3 years alone. Now, assuming we don't have a lockout, which, by the way, we won't. We will not. And the money coming in from the new Seattle franchise is $150 million more than Vegas paid, plus the new gambling stuff. Do you think that cap's not going up again? Guys, this is not gonna matter. It will not matter. And do they have the guys coming up in the system that can replace your Connor Browns, your Zach Hymans, your Nikita Zaitsevs? Yes.
Maybe.
In fact, I can make the argument. I can make the argument that there are guys right now who can do a better job. I think Andreas Janssen, when he gets rolling again, that's a better player than Connor Brown, and I like Connor Brown. Do you really think that
I want to see what
Andreas,
Trevor Moore's made of.
do you think that Trevor Moore or that Andreas Janssen can't listen? I love what Zach Hyman brings. I'm not trying to denigrate Zach Hyman, but do you think that those guys can't bring 80% of what Zach Hyman brings?
How about this? Look how good Per Lindholm is. Like forget about the whole drafting and developing thing, which you should do, and I think the Leafs have done a decent job of.
You can
for
find
a
them.
few years. Yeah,
You can find those guys.
Igor Rozhikyanov is in the lineup right now,
You can find depth guys.
and I would argue he's not as good as a defenseman as Per Lindholm is a forward, but they're both there. Zaitsev was another one.
40-point-a-year guy worth $8 million.
40 point a year.
That's
Willie?
sorry, 60-point-a-year.
I was like,
sorry, my bad.
Will be very soon.
60-point-a-year guy's worth $8 million.
He's gonna be better than that. We all know it. We can see it. He's a better player than that.
He's going to be a consistent, at least 70-point player.
Yeah.
Especially if he plays with Matthews.
Like, think about that.
I'm
That's the
fine with
difference
the Leafs
of 9
coming up.
points.
I'm fine with the Leafs coming up.
I don't care.
This whole thing, if it starts with a 6, like, especially if you think 8 years from now, like, there were a couple contracts from sort of around the last lockout where we looked at them and we looked at the player and we were like, okay, this contract is not only good, but you got screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I can think of 3. Pacioretty, dude, is still making 4 or 4.5 It's unbelievable. Tyler Seguin. Remember, he was making less than 6. Or no. Yeah, it was less than 6. And John Tavares was unbelievably less than 6 until this past July.
Yep.
So, if William Nylander is making, let's say, 6.5 8 years from now, that's not just a good contract. That's a
Highway robbery.
Fire agent.
Assuming
sort of
he becomes who we think he can be.
So what's 725 look like? Like, how big of a difference is that?
It's nothing. It's $750,000.
What's $8 million?
It's $1 million. If you're $1.5 million
I still
apart,
just think,
there's
man.
give him the fuck. Honestly, I know I'm going against myself here, but $8 million for this guy in a few years is not going to look like much, and it's not going to look like much against the cap. It's just not.
You know what? Maybe the strategy here is Matthews is sitting around not doing anything right now. You work your ass off. You day and night drink all the coffee, fresh pots to get that deal done, and then that helps set the temperature for the Willie talks. You lock up Matthews, because if you lose with Willie, then you lose with Mitch, you lose with Austin, potentially.
I think from everything we've heard, the Austin deal's done. They're just waiting for Willie.
Just lock him up.
And we've heard that from very reputable sources that the deal with Austin is done.
It's easy.
Yeah,
It's here's all the money for 10 years.
What do you want to make, sir?
Yeah. That's not, you could have done that with your eyes closed.
Macaulay Culkin trailer. It's a blank check.
So this is the thing I'm saying is this. Like, okay, you've got Jake Gardiner, Ron Hainsey up. Next year, they're not in a cap crunch. I don't care what anyone says. Now, hold on. Just listen to me for a second, okay? I know that losing Jake Gardiner is a bad thing.
I also think they want to keep him.
I agree, 100%, and they should want to keep Jake Gardiner. The point I'm trying to make here is if you are worried about losing a player like this, then you know what you do? You fire the Patrick Marleau contract into the sun with a first-round pick, and you just say, you know what? We're just going to have to eat our first-round pick this year.
I don't know about that.
Okay, so you'd rather lose Willie?
No, okay.
I'll trade the 30th or 31st pick overall any day to keep William Nylander on my team.
It's interesting
when you
frame, because you almost make it sound like by adding something, you make the Marleau contract look a little bit like a failure, but you're also going, well, I'm cleaning up the last regime's mess.
Yeah,
which is the
not
favorite
my choice.
fallback of every GM. What I keep wondering is Marleau left a team he was with forever to come to the Leafs, and he signs that 3-year deal. And then all of a sudden the Leafs want to work to get rid of him. The only place I want to see him go as a hockey fan, San Jose.
Doug Wilson does that deal. He might even make the Leafs retain money. Who cares? Retain the money.
That could work.
Yeah, because listen, all you're doing at that point, because the Leafs, if they are going to trade him, it'll be on July 2nd because they got to pay him his bonus. He's got a bonus-laden deal, right? Mm-hmm. So he can't retire. They could throw him on LTIR if he would agree to that, if he is unhealthy. But I don't think he's going to do that. So hold on. So you look at it and you go, okay, Doug, what's the max you can retain on something? 50%?
50.
Okay. So listen, we need a little breathing room here. Here's the 30th. Here's a pick that's 25 to 31. All right. We will give you this. You're going to love this. You haven't had a first round pick in eons, so this would be great for you. And we're going to give you Patrick Marleau back for his season. It'll be great. Homecoming, hallelujah. One of the best players in franchise history. That's fantastic. And you've given us $3 million in cap space. I don't care at that point. Who cares?
I will
at
say
that
this,
point?
though.
Dude, get it done.
With Patrick Marleau, he's had such a bad start to the season, but we're also talking about one of the most consistent goal scorers of this generation.
Fine, but
and he had 27 last year. I wouldn't be shocked to see him score 27
40-year-old
again.
Patrick Marleau, or do you trade William Nylander for three pieces that are less good?
You might be looking in the wrong places, but yes.
The point I'm trying to make is money is movable.
Yeah.
You can move any of these contracts, guys.
The point is you want $8 million, William Nylander.
I don't give a shit. Just get him in the lineup.
What about $9 million, Adam?
No, $9 million is too much.
$10 million,
I don't
Adam?
care. You know what?
At that point, is he worth it?
You could pay Matthews 13, Marner 10, and William 8, and I don't care.
You got to look at Pittsburgh, man. Look who's producing on Crosby's top line right now. Dominic Simone. You ever heard of that guy? Nope. No. Well, Pittsburgh brought him on board. Connor Sherry. Who the hell was that? They brought him on board, and then they made him part. They brought him on board, got use out of him. Gensel was a 3rd-round pick. I think Rust was a 1st-round pick. But what they've done so well for over a decade is bringing in other guys. Now, Justin Bourne defended because people were kind of crapping on the Connor Brown contract. And look, he's inexpensive. He's a really effective bottom 6 player. Maybe you keep guys like that. I agree. But
you don't keep him at the expense of William Nylander.
You don't keep him at the expense of William Nylander, and you should be able to replace those players.
And you can.
If you have to.
You can.
You should keep them if you can. And if you cannot, that's when you cut bait.
But they could. And I don't want to see Zach Hyman go, by the way. And I don't want to see Connor Brown go. I still think he's good.
It's not going to be Zach Hyman.
No, it's not. The point I'm trying to make here is there's opportunities. There are opportunities where you can move money.
Yeah.
I know for a fact from a source that Nikita Zaitsev would be a guy that if the Leafs were to make him available, there would be offers without retaining salary.
People think when we say from a source that we're BSing them, eh?
We're definitely not BSing.
No, we're fully not.
You start to get to know people.
They don't know. Yeah.
So one thing that's often not talked about enough with Pittsburgh is they had 2 starting goaltenders. The second and third times they won the Stanley Cup.
Leafs have AHL goaltender of the year, Garrett Sparks. So we haven't seen.
They don't have 2 starting goaltenders that held them down all the way to the Stanley
Murray
Cup.
got lit up last night by the New York Islanders. By Lou Lamoriello's New York Islanders.
Did you see, by the way, not to distract from the New York Islanders game, which I watched on replay this afternoon with Steve at my house, but did you see that somebody fired the puck from the, I think it was in the Flames game, and it fired directly at the bench at Garrett Sparks?
Oh, and
he
he
caught it with his glove, and he was like really sly about it. I was like, nice, Garrett. Keeping the skills
I think
sharp.
Dubnyk did that last night, too.
That's sick. I love that.
It's happened a couple times. Actually, there was a great clip going around Twitter the night the Penguins spanked the Flames 9-1. 30 seconds to go in the game, puck gets dumped down, and they see in the first row, there's this Penguins fan, and he's like banging on the glass or something. This Flame fan runs over and shoves him. But like, they weren't buddies. Like, they would look like a fight.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Looked like a fight in the stands.
That's not hilarious. It's bad, but
no. But it was just funny to see it caught on live television.
Switching gears to a couple other things. Vancouver, Pettersson.
7 goals in 7 games.
43.8% is he's shooting right now.
Sustainable.
According to, not sustainable. According to Elliot Friedman, the best rookie number in NHL history is Warren Young, 30.5%. Second, Rob Brown, 30% at 87-88. Major difference between them and Pettersson. The latter didn't have Mario Lemieux passing to him. Both of those guys were playing with Mario Lemieux.
Oh, wow. That's unbelievable.
Hilarious, right?
That's dude, I'll eat my shoe if he scores over 25%. There's just no
That'd
way.
be amazing if he did. It'd be
amazing if I could eat a shoe.
He's so much fun to watch.
He's really good. And he's got that buy speed. Buy. Block the shot. Buy.
Gone
on a breakaway. You're not catching that human being.
We talk about trades. We talk about free agency. We talk about all of these things a lot on this show. One that is really perplexing at the moment.
Also the Marlies.
I'm a little perplexed at what's going on with the second coming of Puljujarvi in Edmonton, because there was another Puljujarvi at one point.
Where?
Edmonton. Jesse Puljujarvi, Mark Spector mentioned the other night, he tweeted that he was scratched again for the 4th game in a row.
How many times
and he said
locals going to go to bat for this friggin' management group? I don't get it.
Things coming to a head. So I'm assuming that by saying that he thinks that there's some sort of move happening, right?
Sure seems like it. Or a demotion. Like, things coming to a head, he's going to get demoted. That makes some sense. And I've seen that from Oilers fans. They're like, if you're not going to play him, develop him. And what is Jesse Puljujarvi doing being a healthy scratch right now? Dude could be playing professional hockey in Finland. Forget about Bakersfield. This team loves alienating, diminishing, and trading top 5 picks. It is not this team, this GM and that team. He's been the GM of that team. It is their favorite thing. Literally their favorite. You ever get up in the morning and you're excited for a cup of coffee? Because you really love that. Mm-hmm. It's one of your favorite things.
Where are you going with this?
When you cut into the ice with your skates, that sound it makes, or maybe the crunching sound of snow under your feet. That's one of my favorite things. Peter Chiarelli's is trading top 5, top 10 picks. One of his favorite things. A Jesse Puljujarvi trade should be waiting under his tree at Christmas. He loves it so much. He loves it
Not
so
one
much.
that's playing, though. In a suit. It should be a tree in a suit.
It is.
Yes.
Eating popcorn.
It is the most absurd thing to scratch a 20-year-old player.
So
pick a side, do something.
I was going to ask, okay, because they can send him down, no problem. It's easy. He's on his entry-level deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole
It doesn't make
benefit.
sense.
Are they making it, are they like, okay, you're too good to be in Bakersfield. We're going to be hard on you because you're 20? Because you're not working. Listen,
It worked for the other guys. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead and do it. It worked for the other ones.
I'm trying to rationalize this. Like Mike Babcock put Nylander and Marner on the fourth line last year at various times.
Yeah.
And then Mitch Marner caught fire at the end of the season. All of a sudden, he's $10 million player.
He gave Matt Martin a 3-point game.
Yeah.
Remember that?
So
That was great.
is this Edmonton trying in their Edmonton way? I'm not saying I agree with it. Is this them trying to be hard on the 20-year-old? You're going to have to earn your spot in this lineup. By the way, Zach Cassian couldn't find a trade, so he is sticking around, and he's happy to be an
Which he
Oiler.
didn't shut down. Yep.
And
They couldn't find a trade. That's what happened, by the way.
Maybe.
Come on.
so
Well, I don't know.
when-
There's a market for Zaitsev.
when this happened, I don't think you got to it in the article. The agent goes to the GM. They ask, "Hey, what's going on here?" And then he gives them permission to reach out to the other teams and
Hey, do you
talk
want my client?
Hey, do you want
This
my
is
client?
Cassian, yeah.
That didn't happen when Marner and Nylander were on the fourth line. So
Well, that's also Cassian versus
Yeah,
Puljujarvi.
Cassian was
who were-
scratched for the first 5 games, too.
yeah, totally
Until
different
Puljujarvi
situations.
got scratched, and then Cassian was in.
but
As you do.
it's there's something in the water in Edmonton.
Oh, there is.
It's not the you're punishing a kid. It's, hey, that organization is weird.
Just not smart. And
Yeah.
but their record is still good.
Steve Mike.
And the team's still all right. And just imagine if they had a middle of the pack management group.
Is the team all right? Cam Talbot blew
What's
the
their
game
record?
last night. They were
They haven't been bad to start the season at all. They've been good.
I
They've been good.
missed the outcome of the Oilers game because I was in the car coming home from ice surfing. I think it was 2-2.
they were up 3-2 and then 2 quick goals the other way and they lost. But
I mean, that's gonna happen.
yeah, it ended 4-3 for Minnesota. But yeah,
Minnesota's
they're sitting
been
at
good.
6-4-1, 13 points, 1 out of the wild card.
That's good. Wow, that's not good enough for a playoff spot.
No, they're 2 points back of Chicago for the second wild card.
Wow.
So, if Jesse...
It's October.
Do we think Jesse Puljujarvi's traded, or do you think this irons itself out in a week and he's playing regularly again? How do you think this ends?
Wouldn't be the first time he wore blue and white.
Stop.
You
Now-
stop.
Another guy...
I'm thinking giant package that involves Zaitsev.
And Nylander.
Yeah, no. You don't trade Nylander for him. You trade
Zaitsev-
Zaitsev's
No, but we get
contract.
Clefbaum, Puljujarvi, Cam Talbot, Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, and the Bobby Nix burger.
You know what? You know who would look good with Connor McDavid is Patrick Marleau.
Oh my God.
Yo.
Yeah,
Marlowe, McDavid, Lucic.
Ratty. Be ratty. It wouldn't be, Lucic could never keep up with those two.
You don't speak ill of the guy who scored 8 preseason goals. the same.
We've never seen a player great in the preseason who stinks in the regular season. Oh wait, we see that every year.
Actually, what's he at right now?
He's not
How's he
bad.
doing?
He's not bad.
Wasn't there news on Tyratty?
Was there?
I think so.
The only reason Ty Ratty has ever made it in the headlines is because
Yeah,
he
there
plays
was
with
news
Connor McDavid.
yesterday.
Is it just me? Is it because I've been doing more stuff with sports? I'm not sure. This season's been bananas so far.
Yeah, it's been.
I cannot keep up.
It's
He's
weird.
For the life of me.
He's day to day with an injury, so he hasn't been playing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's
For the life of me, I can't keep up with this
Day to
season.
day with speed burn from trying to keep up with McDavid.
His hands are just on fire.
just skating so fast. I'm hot.
On fire.
Another
Was
young,
that a banana?
I'm sorry, Tyratty fans.
Adam loves when I say that. That's my automatic laugh button. It's like a cheat code. He just, was that a banana? He loves it.
another young player who, in this case, we think it's the team with Edmonton and Jesse Puljujarvi. In this case, I think it might be the player.
Oh, boy.
And I think Josh Hosang Josh Hosang had a bad day. Because Josh Hosang
He's
did
out
the
of his
thing.
mind.
Well, he's out of his mind because he talked about not playing
Speaking of guys we've gone to bat for.
on a Lou Lamoriello
Gee.
team. He's on a Lou Lamoriello team, and he talked to the media.
And it's funny, so many people have gone to, well, he's certainly going to get traded now. That's best case scenario. Well, I guess best case scenario is the Islanders, He proves his worth. He gets called up by the Islanders and has a successful career with the New York Islanders.
But he's apparently not even playing with Bridgeport.
Right. So, best case scenario, I would argue, is he gets traded. Because what did we learn about Lou Lamoriello when he was Leafs GM? It's not, he'll just trade you. It's, no, he'll let you rot. He'll humiliate you. Players rotted. Josh Levo won't even have been the most hard done by Josh by Lou Lamoriello in the last calendar year with what happens to this player. If he gets traded, he has a chance to have a fresh start somewhere. He might just let him rot. He might let him... He put Brooks Laich on waivers pretty much literally just to spite him when he was with the Leafs.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you think you're good? Go ahead. See, no one wants you. Shut up. Oh boy, he might put it out there publicly for a guy who like rarely leaks anything. Yeah, Josh Ho-Sang's available via trade. See, no one wants you.
Yeah, if I'm Josh Ho-Sang, I think his deal's up this year. The first thing I do next year is go to the KHL or go to Sweden or go somewhere.
No,
Get out. Get out.
That's a lot. Like I'm going to take a year off to backpack and then I'll go to school.
Yeah.
Well,
No, I know a lot of people who actually did that.
You don't
but
think anybody would trade for him?
I don't think so.
if he goes to the
No.
KHL, he's not coming back.
Yeah, I think there's a trade market for like a 6th round pick.
I think people are
a
wondering.
flyer on a 22-year-old. Why not?
Who's a former first round pick for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
A good one is Nikita Filatov back in the day was traded from the Blue Jackets to the Sens for a third.
That's a lot. I don't think Josh Ho-Sang's worth a third.
Third. You know what? For a former 6th overall pick, which is what Filatov is, so that was higher than Ho-Sang for sure. But
Yeah, Ho-Sang's at
that's
22 or
worth
something.
it. You know, you see what you got. A 3rd rounder? He probably gets less, maybe a 4th. Oh boy.
What?
Ho-Sang's going to continue to wear blue and orange. I think we found it. Pull your RV for Ho-Sang. And a 3rd. Mark it down. Sim 8. Calling it right now.
But here's the thing: Puljujärvi would then have to become a star for that to work out the way
Which
it should.
he eventually will.
He will. Scores the Stanley Cup winning goal with Jordan Eberle.
No. He becomes a star with the Islanders, and then what happens with Islanders stars?
He leaves and ends up in Toronto.
Oh, sick.
That's true.
That's amazing.
You know, being from Finland, he's got that connection to Toronto.
you see,
He always
had-
grew up in his Leafs, his blue and white Finland pajamas, so the Leafs are the closest thing.
I just love
Suomi.
Akiberg and grew up watching Vesa Taskala and he's my favorite player. Yeah,
Kasperi Kapanen.
Kasperi Kapanen. He's really who doesn't have an accent at all, pretty much.
Who, by the way, he has no accent, and he's already on a stamp in Finland.
What?
Kasperi Kapanen is on a stamp.
No way!
Yeah.
Good for him!
because
Yeah.
of his World Junior gold medal winning goal.
Oh, that's crazy!
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
neat. It was a pretty sick goal.
Oh, it's a great goal.
On a stamp. That's insane.
But that's like isn't Finland like isn't it 5 or 6 million people?
It's not big.
Like it's not a big country, so you know
Yeah.
it's like
I heard 80
80 million
people.
80 people? No,
Yeah.
that's Iceland. That's hilarious. By the way, 400,000 people. They still make the World Cup every time.
That's crazy. And still,
And
like,
they-
sell out the arena.
And literally-
Like, you ever watch those clips and go, who's left?
Guarding
Are
the
the lineups
town.
at the grocery store in Iceland just, like, catastrophically long? Because it's like, well, everyone else went to Spain to the World Cup or
that's-
whatever, wherever it is.
That's the thing. Like if
That's my
like,
Icelandic accent,
when they
by
did
the
their thunderclap when they came home after they had that run, literally the entire country showed up.
Yeah.
Like it was like there was 250,000 people there. That is literally more than half of the country showed up to do one thunderclap with the team. That's crazy. Come on.
And, like, the country's, like, one criminal is like, I'm going to clean up today. The whole police force is at the parade. It is
The country's one.
the country's one, and they're going to be like, oh, Joseph with an F.
Joseph.
Joseph. Oh, he was here, and he's just going to be walking with like a giant Kanye West size coat full of everyone's things.
him in
What?
the
It's not
jail.
me.
And then you put them in the jail.
The jail.
The
cell.
one they have. The cell.
In the one cell they have.
Joseph's.
Back again, huh, Joseph? I thought today was my day. It was not. The usual then? Yes, please.
Oh man. Anyway, yeah, I think Josh Hosang's lost his
know why I
mind. What's he
picked Joseph.
doing? But I guess if you're going to try to get, I mean, it didn't work. It didn't work out well for Peter Holland. Remember Peter Holland talked, and Peter Holland disappeared,
Well,
and they came back and scored a shootout goal, and then disappeared.
I always try to figure out who Babcock was referring to when he goes, well, some people, they thought they were NHL players and we gave them opportunities somewhere else and they discovered they weren't NHL players. And I was just thinking, because at the time I was like, I think he's talking about Frank Corrado, and now Corrado's back with the Leafs organization. But that's obviously in much different circumstances. He's on an AHL deal. He's coming off a serious injury. I wonder if he was talking about Peter Holland, who I saw recently on the Hartford Wolfpack as they fell to the Toronto Marlies. I don't know. Rasmus Sandin, by the way, speaking of Kasperi Kapanen,
Has looked amazing.
well, he has looked amazing. So what the plan might be there is keep him with the Marlies, send him to the World Juniors, and then you can reevaluate. Maybe send him back to junior, or keep him with the Marlies, which they did with Kasperi Kapanen that year. So he scored the gold medal winning goal,
And then
he was
back.
with the Marlies.
Everything I've heard about people that are breaking down Rasmus Sandin is that he may be more mature than Liljegren. Like his decision making apparently is already better, and that's the thing. Like they're saying, Timothy Liljegren may not even be ready for next year.
Yeah, there's a difference between skill and sense, right? And I think skill is something that's easier to work on than sense. Sense, you just need reps, right? And what Liljegren has missed out on over the past couple of years due to injury and illness, etc., is reps.
Yeah,
He's missed games.
the skill thing you can't buy though. Like the skill is the skill.
No, but you can work on it.
You can work on it. You can make it somewhat better, but skill is skill. It's easier to you can't turn Connor Brown into Steven Stamkos, but you can make Connor Brown's decision making better. Not that Connor Brown really needs that. He's been pretty good defensively.
It's an example. I think
You know what I mean? You get the idea.
Yeah.
But but actually people are going to fly out of the closet like a bunch of bats.
Yeah, but why are we catering to the 4%?
Right.
4? That's the number
Expected-
I landed on.
expected-
Let's talk about that.
You mean the expected GF 4%?
Oh,
Come on, it was a joke. It was an advanced stats joke.
No! You were calling out a whole industry of... No.
Patrick Laine has 3 goals and 5 points in the first 12 games for the Jets.
None at even strength, I'm pretty sure.
So-
None of the goals.
And he's going to Finland, though. That's cool.
He's in Finland having
Finland?
hot wings with Sasha Barkov.
Are you, if you're Jets management or Jets fans, are you worried about that?
Boy, he has looked
He looked
pretty benign.
well. Remember the Leafs game where they were trying to tie it up at the end of the game, and Bufflin had to yell at him.
You gotta move!
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and also, when did I miss the beginning of the Patrick Laine, Josh Levo rivalry? Those guys hate each other.
Yeah.
And what was amazing is, so I brought that up in the video. I'm like, I'm sorry, when did this break out? Like, what happened between these two players? And someone was like, actually, I was at a Leafs-Jets game a couple years ago, and Laine and Levo were going at each other that game too.
Interesting.
What a rare occasion that, like, you just happened to be at a Leafs-Jets game where both Laine and somehow Levo were playing.
One of the 30 times he played last year.
Levo's played like -3 games over the past 2 years. Like,
It's amazing.
How did you go to that?
Are you worried about it? 12 games? To me, I start worrying at the 20 game mark.
Probably. I really like Paul Maurice's answer. Did you see it?
No,
in
what did he
Finland?
say?
So some of the reporters were hilarious. They're like, "Are we going to see between Laine and Barkov who's the daddy?" Did you see that?
It was
Way.
a great, yeah.
And
it
he's
was a
like, "I don't
great
even know
play.
what that means."
That's so awesome. Okay.
Really good. But then, he saw Laine just bombing a shot in practice, and he kept missing. He's going, "Rah!" And he's like yelling at himself, and he's getting so mad. And Maurice was like, I considered going up to him and telling him, you're not going to score the way you did when you were younger. Like, you gotta. I'm not going to do the impression the whole time. This is the NHL. You're going to miss sometimes. And then the next day, it's like 12 straight shots, bar down, didn't miss a single thing. So, maybe I'm just going to leave Patrick Laine alone. The goals will come. Remember when Matthews had his 4-goal game?
And then he hit a wall.
Has Austin Matthews hit a wall? I think, wasn't he stuck at 6 goals
for
10
games.
13 games, something like that. It was unbelievable. And then
Remember
I
when
think he scored 2 again.
Remember when there was that season Ovechkin started slow, and
No.
And he wound up with 51.
yeah,
It was that
and
season.
he won the Rocket Richard.
Yeah.
Wasn't
and
it the lockout shortened season? So he started slow in an already short season and then scored at like a goal a game pace for the rest of the season.
and they asked him about it, and he's like, "Oh, I guess I'm done." Like he started, so he's like, "Oh, I guess I better retire."
No, it's
I'm done."
happened a couple times with Ovi, and he just
Sure.
turns it on when he wants it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not when he wants it, but it eventually turns on. I think maybe it'll be the same with Patrick Laine.
I think it will be too. And goals, like it does seem to be a confidence thing. Goals are his oxygen. He's going to get one, and I think it's going to lead to more.
Now, I wasn't surprised by your answers on this one, on that particular thing. You know, are you concerned about Patrick Laine? Probably not, unless he's battling some sort of injury. Yeah,
Unless he's
gonna
battling in Fortnite too much.
True,
Yeah,
right?
'cause-
Should ban it. Should ban
Oh
it.
my God. I got into it with someone the other day. Did we talk about this? Where the person's like, wait, I think Patrick Laine might be severely addicted to video games. And I'm like, okay, hold up.
Based on what?
Can you tell us who you got into it with?
I don't remember their name.
Oh,
we don't follow each other. I just happened to see
I
it.
thought
Someone
this was
retweeted it.
Somebody in real life.
No. Well, so what was interesting though, so I didn't know this though. You can just access, shut up, Jesse. You can just access someone's Fortnite profile and see how much they've played.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently. And I'm not going to lie, he's played a ton if this was in fact his account. But like, so what? Lots of people. Didn't David Price just basically credit his World Series win on Fortnite?
Well, he sat around a lot playing Fortnite when he was when he was injured. Yeah.
You know what? You know what he's not doing? He's not out in the clubs drinking, doing coke.
You know what? Professional
Well-
athletes have a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
They exercise and then they go and they play a game where they're exercising and
Yeah.
then they go home and play video games.
Can you believe that they would, on the road, they would go out to an electronics store and buy a television, bring it to the hotel, and leave it? Yes.
Yeah.
It's a group of rich men
Like, what the-
buying a plaything that they can easily afford.
Yeah.
And also a group of super stoked hotel employees
Yeah.
who have like a raffle.
So I bring up the Patrick Laine thing. Should the Jets be concerned about him? Should the Flames be concerned about James Neal, who's in the first year of a very expensive contract that goes 5 years and has the exact same stat line as Patrick Laine?
and is on the third line.
Not even on the first. Is he even on the power play right now?
I don't know if he's on the power play. I know he's playing on third line
See,
versus
Because here's the thing. You know what's interesting about James Neal is they already had a younger, better James Neal.
who's that?
Chuck.
Oh,
He is a younger, better James Neal.
who takes fewer penalties.
Who takes fewer penalties, who's as nasty, and I love James Neal. But you had James Neal.
In a game where the Leafs have looked the worst they have this season, he took, I think it was 2 penalties.
And he's been
Needless penalties, far away from the other zone,
yeah.
or far away from his own zone. Yeah, he's looked really bad. The thing with him, though, is because of that giant contract that you mentioned, you do kind of got to jam that square peg in the round hole. So if they got him on the third line and they don't have him on the power play, maybe knock that shit off.
Yeah, maybe give him the time.
Yeah, put him in a place to succeed. Because, again, starting your season right can affect the rest of it.
Yeah.
Look at Vegas last year. James Neal was the damn hero in that first game. And it's like he had a cape on the rest of the season.
See, what I'm worried about with, I James Neal has always performed. So if he's off to a slow start, he's off to a slow start, big deal. But, and I understand Calgary's need to shore up depth. You can never have too much of it. That's great. But a 5-year contract for this player was a risk. They knew that. And when you're looking at Patrick Laine versus James Neal, who's got more of the upside? You know what I mean? It's an age thing. It's a skill thing. James Neal plays a rough game. This is to me, 12 games in, I'm concerned about James Neal. I'm not concerned about Patrick Laine.
And Kachuk looks really good too.
Yeah.
You mentioned the younger Kachuk. Jesse, did you have this quote on Tim and Sid by any chance? Brian Burke talking about the James Neal signing?
No, but I know what quote you're talking.
Yeah, I think the quote was Brad Treliving, like during free agency, Brad Treliving went grocery shopping without a list. And he walked by the aisle that had James Neal in it. And he went, I'll pick up one of these.
Oh, is that what Brian Burke said?
Yeah, which is interesting
Yeah.
because
that
he
was
was
the-
with that team less than a calendar year ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, people have been complaining about him on Sportsnet. Okay, other than the occasional old man take, it's stuff like that that makes him worth it.
Which also, come on, he's an old man.
Yeah,
Of course he's gonna have
What
old
did
man
you think
tick.
he thought? Yeah, of course. Yes. That was a very interesting quote to me. Do you have it up?
No, I don't. I have the
Oh,
video,
sorry.
but I can't play the video. honestly.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
James Neal scored 44 points last year and 41 the year before with the Knights and the Predators.
Boy. And he
Five-
got what?
Now, he had 11 points in the playoffs last year, which is a 44-point pace, believe it or not.
Oh.
So people put a lot into that. They're like, oh my God, in 20 games in the playoffs, he had 11 points. Actually, over the course of that season, that's about on par with what he should be getting. I look at that and I go, they gave him that extra year so they could bring the average down. But I wonder if that hurts them. I always believe that
It won't
you
hurt
want to.
them until later.
Yeah, you want to pay, but you want to pay. I'd rather pay more in the now than pay less longer.
I don't know what their cap situation
Like I would
is
rather
near
be
the
paying Nikita Zaitsev, crazy. I'd rather be paying him 5.5 or whatever the hell he was asking for 4 years than 4 for 7.
You know, for all this complaining we've done about that contract,
It's not hurting them.
he's looked all right this
It's
season.
been fine.
I'd argue this is the best he's ever looked. Boy, Marinson had the puck on his stick the other night. I've been like, you know what? I think we all freaked out about him too much. He's actually looked all right, and then he tried to handle the puck in his own zone. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
Marty. He's so good until the puck hits his stick.
Yeah. Alexander Radulov in Montreal would not talk to the media.
Really?
Would not talk to the media.
Did not see that one.
Apparently, the Montreal Canadiens faithful. I did not watch the game. The fans booed him, and
That's dumb.
That I thought that was dumb too. Considering that basically Mark Bergevin called him disloyal. He's like, if you want loyalty, buy a dog.
Wow.
Basically throwing that like, oh, you're disloyal even though I offered you the same contract as the Stars. That's not really how it went down, by the way. The Stars courted Alexander Radulov. Mark Bergevin said, here's the contract, sign it or don't.
Yeah.
And Andrei Markov also left that season for that same reason.
Are Habs fans feeling themselves a little bit?
Yeah,
'Cause
I
of the
mean,
hot
I
start?
don't hate that.
Domi's been real good.
Yeah.
No, but like, if things are going poorly, do you think they boo Radulov?
No.
No, because they're mad at management.
But they've never booed Bergevin, which is interesting.
Well,
they seem to be.
how do you boo the GM?
Well,
You
but
look
they
up?
seem to be. I don't know. Am I wrong? Don't they seem to be squarely on his side? The majority?
No,
Dude, I'm not talking about. No, I'm not talking about Twitter, which is the analytics like
It
Montreal.
is a bit of an echo chamber, yeah.
Like
Does the
I'm
average
talking about
fan
the
hate him?
average Montreal fan, the Grant McCaggs.
Who followed me until I said something back to him once.
Who is this?
He's just some Montreal.
He's a guy who's not biased and is
totally
completely and
level-headed
utterly
and
biased.
definitely loves the Leafs. No, like the average Montreal fan, do they disagree with what
explain
Mark
it.
I think they're
Bergevin's doing?
smart. I think they're smart hockey fans, and they.
I don't think they're
probably-
stupid. I'm just saying, do they see it that way?
I think they're all pleasantly surprised with how the team is doing this year.
As they should be.
I think if you start 6-3 and 6-3-2, and you're Montreal, you'd be happy. What are you going to complain about?
2.
What are you going to complain
That's a
about?
good
14
start.
points.
I guess.
Holy smokes.
I guess my
Carey
point
Price is
is,
back.
if Montreal wasn't feeling themselves, like they weren't, how upset were they with
Laughing at me.
Bergevin last year?
It's a ridiculous take. Adam, is Carey Price back?
Why is that a ridiculous take? Why? I need to know.
You mean healthy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but what is
That
back?
was a question.
Are you saying Carey Price is the best player in the world?
He's the best goalie in the world. And at one point, I would have argued he might be the best player in the world.
Right now, Carey Price is the best goalie in the world.
Yeah, probably. If he's back to what he was.
I think so.
With his
Yeah.
9-15 save percent.
Yeah. No, I think Carey Price can be the best goalie in the world. I think he still has it to be the best goalie.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
every time he's healthy, in quotes,
Yeah.
he hasn't always been healthy.
Yes.
Now
That's
he
very
actually
true.
looks healthy.
Okay.
And I'm like, especially the other night against the Bruins. It was so funny because I was talking about this with some people. Rob Pizzo brought it up on the on Hockey Central Saturdays, which I got to co-host. Wow, Carey Price gave away his game stick for the stick where he broke Patrick Waugh's record for wins with the Montreal Canadiens. And I'm like, yeah, of course he did, because his standards are higher than ours. Ours is, wow, what a historic, momentous game. What did Nelly say? I am number one, because 2 is not a winner and 3 nobody remembers. Carey Price does not want to be number 2.
He won't give away the stick that he uses if they win the cup. That's the
If they
stick
win
he
the
hangs
cup,
on to.
if he breaks the record, who I think it belongs to, I want to say Jacques Plante.
Yeah.
Or was it Ken Dryden? I don't remember.
Plant.
Planty. Jacques Planty.
You mean Leafs legend Jacques Plant?
Yes. And
He did play for the Leafs.
Leafs legend Ken Dryden. He was the GM.
That's right.
Don't even remember. Yeah, if he breaks the record, I think maybe he keeps that stick. But number 2, that's not a thing. It's a milestone. That's not going in the Hall of Fame.
No.
No. And also, I mean, probably a lot. Like, after a while, when you're Carey Price and you've accomplished so much, there's only so much shit you can hang on to, right?
Right.
Like, well, how many more game sticks do they really need at home? He's worried about his kids, and his wife's pregnant, I believe, again. And that's his focus.
Cool.
That's his focus. And winning games is his focus. I don't think, keeping the stick that I got into number 2 in, nah, I don't think he cares.
And also the 8-year-old or whatever he gave it to, they're not going to be like, this is the stick, he broke the record. They're just going to be like, yo, check it out.
Well, they might.
No, they might do the stick
When they
thing.
get older, they're going to be like, by the way, when they get to my stupid age. But when they go to school, they're just going to be like, yo, I got a stick. Ah!
True.
I get it. The kid, it's funny how adults are. Because the kid was like, I'm going to bring it to school. And I want to show everybody. And
Adults
the
are
dad
like, "Put it
was
away."
probably like, actually, no. I'm going to get this encased in carbonite first.
Yeah.
And protect it forever.
During today's appeal on the Tom Wilson suspension,
Oh, is this breaking news?
the arbitrator, this according to Chris Johnston. By the way, it's spelled Johnston. Everybody calls him Chris Johnson, though. But it is Chris Johnston.
Well, is it like a silent T?
I don't know.
I was just calling CJ
it's like
to
when we
avoid
had
it.
Carolyn Cameron on. It's spelled Caroline, but she says it's Carolyn.
Yes.
A lot of the Sportsnet people say Johnston, and we'll make a thing of it.
Oh, okay.
Just so people know.
Because I always called him Chris Johnson, and then I looked at him and I was like, oh, it's Johnston. So I'm going to say Johnston. I don't think he cares. No. Chris does not strike me as the guy who would care about that.
Super high maintenance.
During today's appeal of the Tom Wilson suspension, arbitrator Shyam Das indicated that it may take some time to render a decision given the number of issues raised. It was a very long... You're not hearing anything that I'm saying right now, and this really bothers me. I'm going to have to read this again.
listening.
Sorry. Jesse had something in his beard and it was bugging me.
What did I say?
Shyam Das
What did I say?
eats Wendy's.
I hate you so much right now. I'm going to read this one more time.
Sorry.
And I'm doing this only for Steve.
Was it really important, Adam?
Yes, it is. It
What did
is.
you say? I'm sorry.
Tell us something.
Anyway, the arbitrator
I thought it'd be quicker.
said it's going to take some time to render a decision given the number of issues raised.
And also his day rate.
Wilson is seeking to have his 20-game suspension reduced. The Caps' 20th game is November 19th. So even at this point, really, this is more about the money than about
It's
the games.
100% about the money. Whoops.
And I don't blame him for that. But how much...
It's so funny. I saw people and
He gets $63,000 a game back.
yeah. Is that
I don't blame
it?
him.
I thought it'd be more.
Oh, according to Chris, it's $63,000.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So
It might be more money than that, but it's $63,000.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
yes. So
Yeah.
it was just funny that people were like, well, if he actually felt bad, he wouldn't be appealing it. Not at all true.
No,
Like,
no.
literally not true. He can feel bad and also be like, I would like $63,000.
It's $1.2 million.
Times 5 back.
Say 10 games gets knocked off. That's $630,000. $100,000. That's a lot of money.
Just
Just get back.
It's a little bit of
I'm just
dinero.
saying. I don't blame him for going after it. It's just, come on, Tom. Come on, Tom.
Come on now.
I guess we should do the press conference, eh? Actually, before we do the press conference, Steve, you wanted to bring something up that's near and dear.
Okay, yes, and there was debate. There was debate because whenever we bring up stuff like this, people yell at us. And listen, so there was obviously that tragedy in Pittsburgh, and I'll put a name to it rather than just say tragedy. There was a mass shooting at a synagogue. There was a crazy lunatic racist man who went in there and shot and killed, what was it, 11 people? 9 people?
11 people.
Too many people.
12 people.
Any number larger than 0 is too many. So I've heard many takes about it, takes about the patches. A lot of people thought it was good. Some other people had, they're like, it's great that they're doing this, but they had those takes on it. I'm not going to get into that. And I don't plan on spending long on this. All I want to do is read what a friend of mine sent me, and this friend happens to be Jewish. Okay, so this is not my perspective. This is my friend's perspective.
Okay.
And I read it to you because it gave me pause. If it was something that I thought was ridiculous, I wouldn't bring it to the table. It's just something that made me think, all right? So, here's what they said. This is Pittsburgh. We're a tough town, in quotes. No one attacked Pittsburgh. It happened in Pittsburgh, but that's it. The attack was on Jews. Could have been anywhere in the States, but they did the absolute best they could to minimize that part. Like it's incidental. This has been a tough couple days, man. So that's all they said. It was just an interesting thought that gave me pause. That's all.
There you go.
And I'm sure it's going to make some of you upset. It's not my opinion. It's just the opinion of my Jewish friend who I think has every right to voice their opinion on this matter, don't you?
100%.
Yes.
Agreed. With that, we're going to move on to the press conference.
Press conference.
I have a message from David Sherman.
David Sherman.
You guys do not know that this message exists because it was sent to me exclusively. So we should call this a Sim 9 because I'm breaking news on this
Isn't there like
podcast.
15 levels of Sim, or is it 16? A Sim 16 or something?
If you don't know what Sim 16 is, you can't afford it.
It's so fucking true. It needs to be true 16 times.
It's true twice. It's true in multiple realities. It's just
David
so damn
says,
true.
Hey, man. Just want to thank you guys for the podcast.
Uh-oh.
I was especially thankful for it this summer when I spent 2 months living in a super rural part of Uganda doing some research by myself.
Not in Silesia.
Everyone there was really nice and hospitable, but after a few weeks, it's easy to start to really miss familiar interaction. When I was there, I would use my Ugandan data plan to download the podcast.
Oh my God.
And he puts in brackets here, off of my favorite podcatcher. Every week when it was released.
My favorite podcatcher.
Then I would take however many minutes long the podcast was, divide it by 7, and listen to that many minutes of the podcast each night before bed. It was amazing how helpful it was just to be able to have that little bit of familiarity in my life every day. So thank you. Keep it up.
That's very cool.
That is cool.
amazing. First of all,
wow.
thank you. Second of all, I want a follow-up message. I want to know what you're researching in Uganda.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
seriously.
That's, you might want to expand on that. Give me the meat.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I was in Uganda, but I was listening to your show. It's like, come on, man. Maybe mention why you were in Uganda. Burying the lead again. Here's. This is bad, and I'm going to make this about me for a second, but I think you're going to understand why.
Oh, my God.
I am conditioned now, whenever we get one of these messages, to think that, but I have to disagree with Adam. I was waiting for the but Adam in that, and it didn't happen, which honestly, I'm truly shocked by, but that's how many but Adams we've had, is that every time someone says something nice, it's like, you guys are great, but.
It's become a bit on the Reddit page.
Oh my God.
Because actually, Adam is wrong. Because I've gone to bat for you a few times. I'm like, Adam's wrong about this. I'm like, no, I brought it to the table and I said it first, though. I agree with him. I'm also wrong if you think he's wrong. And they're like, no.
No, we like you.
No, I think they just do it as a bit. By the way, I should mention this. I haven't posted on that Reddit for a couple weeks now. And that's because my Reddit account is suspended, and I don't know why.
Somebody probably just, as a gag, reported you, and then they haven't got
maybe.
to it.
Yeah, well, it is weird because I barely post anything. But yeah, it's suspended, so I haven't been able to. I saw a few people have sent me messages.
Connor Brown is great, reported for hate speech.
Yeah. Well, how dare you? Yep. So I'm going to try to fix
Terrible.
that. Yeah. No, I don't know why. I think someone tried to hack
Wait,
it.
you don't get to hang out in the doldrums of Leafs Reddit?
I can still read
NHL
everything.
Reddit?
I can read everything.
Oh.
It's weird. It lets me read my messages. I just can't post.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Your posting
Thought
rights
I
have
would
been
throw that
taken.
out there in case anyone's like, Steve's a dick. Not even responding. Actually,
Jesse?
I think I'm pretty good at that.
Would Adam agree that Tatar for a first, second, and third is worse than Saad for Panarin?
Yeah. Before Adam answers, I'm just going to completely revoke any support I had of that trade at the time. It was bad.
That's a bad trade.
There we go.
Yeah, actually, we had, and I meant to bring this up today. Thank you for bringing that up. There were a few people that were like, actually, there have been worse trades. Eberle for Strome.
Oof. That's a bad
That's
one.
a bad trade. And
Underrated, one for one bad.
somebody else made a really good point, and I apologize for not writing your name down. But they said, "Are you kidding me? Erik Karlsson or Mike Hoffman?" I'm like,
Sens have done all right. Oh, Mike Hoffman.
Sens have done all right. Mike Hoffman.
Well,
knock on. Well, Mike Condon was bad too last night, but he got waived today, which sucked.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the Erik Karlsson trade.
Well, I am
You're talking about the Hoffman trade.
Well, I'm talking. They said there was a couple others that they said the Senators.
Oh.
There were people that said the Erik Karlsson trade was bad. I don't think it was great.
I mean, their record is all right. At least it's better than what we thought it would be. It's for sure better than what we thought it would
It's not 0-12.
be. Yeah,
So that's
basically.
great. But to say that the Senators got anywhere close to half value for Erik Karlsson is nuts.
No, I would say it's fair to be like, hey, Dylan DeMello is better than people thought. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, and there's also a fair amount of futures involved, so we'll see. But yeah, they could have gone.
And the Mike Hoffman deal. That
could've
might
gone
be the worst new deal just because of how fleeced the Senators got. Because of what happened.
Yeah, the way it played out.
Like, is there a
was
worse?
so bad.
I know the Strome Eberle one was bad, but that was more of a cap dump that the Oilers didn't need to make.
Yeah.
They
couldn't have him right now. Oilers are right up against
Yeah,
the
but
cap.
had they traded Chris Russell, they could have had him.
By the way, underrated thing that isn't a thing yet, but could be at some point. So Matthews is on IR. I believe
He's on
he's on. I believe he gets to. I believe the Leafs save on the cap there.
Yeah.
They already have
Mountains.
$12 million. Yeah. So the Nylander contract, when it gets signed, I'm going to say when, damn it. The number for this year goes up and up and up. But with the little bit of savings here, the fact that they already have a ton of space, I wonder if when they get Nylander back and Matthews is healthy, not only does this team destroy worlds, but at the deadline or maybe a month before the deadline, they go, you know what, we're going for it. And they go out and they get somebody.
They get Brendan Saad.
And they get Brendan Saad and put him on defense. And then get rid of him so they can afford Panarin. The circle of...
Can I close with Hawk Floyd from our Reddit page?
Hawk Floyd.
Speaking
Floyd
of
Dangle.
By the way, hold on. Columbus might be an interesting one.
That is it was especially funny to me yesterday because we opened ice surfing with a bit of a goaltending controversy in Columbus. Korpisalo lets in 3 goals they put in Bobrovsky.
Yeah, not so much. No, but Columbus might be an interesting one if you can talk to Panarin's agent and get him extended if you're the Leafs beforehand and you trade Nylander for him.
Oh.
Jesse was like, I'm with you. Nope.
Because
okay.
Elliot Friedman did say the Leafs might be in on him.
That's a guy who can ask for 8.
I'd give it to him. He's 26. I'd give him 8 over 8 in a heartbeat.
There might be something there.
Like a sign
but
and
as
trade?
a 1-for-1, nah.
What? Are you fucking nuts? 1-for-1, you wouldn't do Panarin and not Nylander.
Panarin for 1 year. Oh, if you could get an extension.
You got to get an extension. Come on.
Oh boy, I have to think about it.
He's also 26.
He's also elite.
He probably wants an 8-year deal or something.
Give it to him. Who cares?
Into his 30s?
Dude, he's an 80-point player.
Yeah, but you have to pay Matthews and Marner.
And you will. You're going to have to pay Nylander anyway.
Shoot, Adam might be right.
Come on, guys. Come on. This is a guy that actually proved it.
The whole thing with a guy like Nylander is hopefully he turns into Panarin for less.
You would be lucky.
And at younger.
No.
You would be lucky if Nylander turned into Panarin.
Yeah, but he's
but for
already
less and
X percentage of Panarin.
Yeah.
He's already like at
he's
least
not-
75% of
and he's
Panarin.
not
So if
33.
Panarin takes $8 million or 8.5,
He's not going to.
what is he going to be, a $10 million player?
That's interesting. The Panarin contract is, that's fascinating. I have no idea.
I would do it.
It's just at the end of one deal, one guy is 33 and the other is
Yeah,
maybe
but
25.
at that point, so was Tavares. If you're using that logic, then why did you sign Tavares?
No, but if we didn't have Tavares, maybe we go out and get Panarin. Like
I
we
guess.
have.
Listen, if you
I don't
can't
think those
sign,
are the same
listen,
arguments at
my
all.
point is, if you can't sign Nylander to the money you want, if you want a guy that is already established, Panarin's the guy.
How about this? Forget the extension. If you're going to really, really, really go for it, get him anyway.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Not for Nylander.
Yeah, why don't you just do that?
But get him.
Yeah, sign Nylander and get Panarin.
That's just free money then. 'Cause then it's gone on July 1st.
That would be, Tavares, Matthews, Kadri, Nylander, Marner.
Panarin? But no defense.
It'd be nice if we
Yeah,
could
but
play
who
defense.
needs it?
Well,
You're not going to be in your own zone ever.
Yeah.
It's
I'd like to
hilarious.
see
You
them-
need
listen,
defense with the
No.
playoffs a little.
if Nashville, was Nashville one of the teams that they named? By the
For
way,
what?
Where who did
Panarin?
I was going to ask you guys this, and I forgot to ask. When Elliot Friedman, do you have the Elliot Friedman quote? What
Carolina
teams-
was one.
So Carolina, you have to think it would be Pesci.
or I mean,
You're not going to do
take your
Falk.
pick.
You're not going to do Falk.
Slavin.
I'd want it to be Slavin or Dougie Hamilton or Pesci, I think.
He says,
Why not?
it's no coincidence Kyle Dubas's travels took him to see Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Minnesota, and Carolina.
So let's start with Philly then. What's the Nylander trade to Philly look like?
There was
Spitball it. Like, is it Gostisbehere? Is it Provorov?
There was a rumor. Was it Sam Morin might be available, or Travis Sanheim?
Travis Sanheim. It was Travis Sanheim.
Yeah, there was one prospect that worked out and one that didn't, and they're both big, and I can't remember.
It's Travis
who's who.
Sanheim. I remember seeing that.
Oh, okay,
Would you take Travis Sanheim?
straight up for Nylander.
Not straight up. It wouldn't have to be.
Yeah, like this is the problem. Like we're
but-
spitballing, and we gotta
Let me spitball. I want to spitball.
This game is
What's that look like?
You start with at
Not a
least
supporter
10.
of this
Uh-huh.
game.
let's trade Nylander.
Instead of him, can you
Let's
get
see what we
Provorov
can
or
get.
Gostisbehere?
You're not gonna be able to get Provorov.
Can you get Gostisbehere?
Provorov's a guy you look at the one for one. He's very
Well, exactly,
very
but
good.
that's my point. So is Nylander. Nylander's really good. So
Yeah.
if you can do a 1-for-1, is it Provorov? Is it Gostisbehere?
The Flyers should ask for Sparks just in case.
What about
they need a goalie so bad.
Okay, so what about LA? Who are you getting?
Why are you hitting this so hard?
I want to know.
He wants to know. You know what? People sick of the Nylander conversation. It's like in-depth hockey conversation. I'm asleep. Nylander conversation, like 50,000 hits.
Yeah.
Every time on Sportsnet. Every time.
What's the win in LA?
And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hate it. Man, who's even in their prospect pool right now?
Would you get a prospect?
Trying to think of it.
Is it Drew Doughty?
I wonder. I'm just thinking of like Kings I like. Adrian Kempe, I really like. You need more than that. Tyler Toffoli I like.
Muzzin?
You need more than that. Muzzin I like. You need more than that.
Wild, you'd think Spurgeon, right?
Maybe Dumba.
Okay. What was it?
Is Spurgeon?
Is he in Minnesota?
Is he still in Minnesota, or was he one of the guys who went to Buffalo?
No, he didn't go to Buffalo.
Who's in Buffalo now? I can't remember. Yep. You need.
I'd hate it, but and then I think Carolina.
I
Carolina to
also
me makes a
hate
lot of
that
sense.
It's a given that Nylander is going to be in exchange for a defenseman. Now, if it's a package, you definitely get a defender in the package for sure. But I still love the idea of them retaining Nylander because you make what makes you special undeniable.
That's my point.
Look how
Pay him.
stupid good the Leafs have been offensively without him. Add him to the mix, Kapanen on the third line. I still say the third line ends up as Janssen, Kadri, Kapanen. Tuck your season in. You're not stopping them. Hey, you might be able to get by the Leafs defense in a 7-game series. Who knows? They're going to score a shitload of goals on you. And they might win a cup that way. It's that scary.
Just sign him. Let's go. Jesse,
on, Will.
sorry, next question.
Are we done playing 1050 radio? You guys done?
I did see a headline out of there that somebody said that they didn't get Tavares to be the rebound guy. That was the
What?
take today, I think, was that they didn't get
Who said
Tavares.
that?
I think it was Odog.
That was one of the first things we talked about is when he plays on the power play, he's going to be the net front guy. No, wrong.
But isn't that his game is below the hash marks?
Yes.
That's Tavares. That's what he's always done.
Which I like Hodog, but no. No.
Of course, you can disagree with Odog.
That very specific take is incorrect in my opinion.
I'm going to close with Hawk Floyd from
Again?
our Reddit page.
Nothing but hits.
He says, I found the following Leafs lineup from February 2016.
oh boy,
the first line.
Wait, which game is this?
Oh my God. I can't
Steve,
tell
who
you.
fucking cares, man?
I fucking
Crazy if he could guess it. Hold on. Give me a second. If you guys can fill, I'll pull up a game from
Give me the
February.
date.
I said
The
I don't-
reason February is important.
No, he only said that
Is
after the
because it's
schedule.
either before or after the trade deadline when they traded everyone. So we're talking about a roster that's bad or catastrophically bad.
Was that 2016 or was that the 2015 year?
And if it was the game against Montreal, which was either the last game before the deadline
16.
or after, I was there, which is what I was going to say before you guys decided to be dicks. I was there in Montreal and watched the Leafs get pumped. It sucked.
You know,
Hold
any
on,
other
hold
show,
on.
they would have told us to shut up and just get to the meat and potatoes. But we're going to draw this sucker out.
It was the last one before the deadline because Parenteau couldn't play, and everyone was concerned about
Parenteau
that.
Ovechkin.
Because they tried to trade Parenteau Ovechkin and could not.
Whatever they were offered for him, which apparently they turned down offers for him, they should have just taken it. That's the most Lou move. Wasn't it Lou? Was Lou there
Here's
yet?
the seventh, okay?
Yeah, just go. Take it. Whatever. Grabner,
Okay.
too. Grabner was injured, though, so they couldn't trade him.
Yes. Whereas Parenteau...
And Grabner
he ended
scored
up
like-
being okay.
Grabner scored like 1 goal that year and then scores 30 the next year in New
Oh
York.
my God, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. They wanted to
Scored
keep him.
less than 10. One was with his ass.
Yeah.
He like matched his total by American Thanksgiving. Maybe even Halloween. Yes, Jesse? Are you actually looking up the...
I was trying to get a game, but I can't.
Just read the lineup. It doesn't matter. I shouldn't have brought it up.
Serge
All right.
Ibaka right now is online dancing and singing
What?
in his Halloween costume.
Like Instagram Live?
Yeah. No, just sorry, on Twitter. And he's shirtless. Just hanging in his Halloween costume.
Hot.
Just singing.
Fair enough.
He works that social media. So, I
wha-
guess we don't get to find out the lineup here?
Yeah. While Jesse is setting that up,
See, here's the thing.
I
we
played Shinny today.
We wouldn't. No, Steve. We wouldn't.
We're
have
not
had-
talking about that? Okay, never
Jesse, we would be done the show by now. Jesse wouldn't have to replace the batteries or reset the cameras if we had not tried to figure out what effing game in February it is. But you know,
So
just
it's a lineup from February 2016.
Steve could have been at
I
this
don't
game.
know the game. I apologize. But the first line center was Peter Holland.
Trade deadlines in March, by the way.
The first line center was Peter Holland.
Oh!
He was on both of his sides were Grabner and Komarov. The second line was Greening, Arcabello, Parenteau.
Maron!
The third line was Winnick, Spalling, and Boyce. And then the fourth line was Rich Clune, Freeze,
Byron Fraze.
and Mr. Leipzig. Do I hear the defense?
Oh my God! Can you believe we lost him for nothing to Vegas? Oh my God!
Do I hear the defense?
That might have been the Vancouver game.
Fourth line, Brandon Leipzig.
Do I hear the defense? Hunwick and Riley, Gardner and Polak, Marinson and Corrado.
So it was after the
That
Fanoff
could
trade.
be a today line.
That's actually not a whole lot different. The Leafs haven't done a whole lot on that front.
and
I'm
in
going to
net,
say, I think that was against Vancouver, actually.
in net was Reimer and Bernier. There you go.
Oh, so they won because they had rhyme time.
Anyways, that great first line of Grabner, Holland, and Komarov started one game in February 2016.
Good Lord.
Wowzers.
what's
Times have
it-
changed.
There were some thin times. What did I got to ask? What did we talk about that entire season? What the hell were we? Was it like
We screamed about like
hey,
how
we-
Brendan
we-
Leipzig's going to be captain in 2 years.
Hey,
and-
we have Nylander on the Marlies.
We talked about Matthews a lot that year.
Like how they could get him.
Yeah. We talked about that a lot.
It's like how when you're
Matthews
sick, you
or
forget how to
Reimer.
breathe through your nose. Like that's a time I just can't relate to.
Or when you're sick, you're like, how did I not appreciate not being sick?
Yeah.
I
The
always
second
do
I'm
that.
not sick,
Yeah.
all I'm going to do is breathe through my nose.
And then you forget about it.
And then you forget about
Yeah,
it.
the
Because
second
that's a
you're not
ridiculous thing to think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey.
Everyone out there, appreciate if you're not sick. Appreciate that you're not sick.
Hey, and also, guess what? Matthews is out, but John Tavares is a Leaf.
That's true.
Right?
Hey, and you know what's sick? The Leafs lineup. You see,
Agreed.
there's multiple
Yeah,
definitions.
but is it sick with
But what game in February was that in 2016? Wait, what game? This is what we all want to know. What spooky game in February? Spooky
Happy
game.
Halloween, everyone.
You know, that was 3 years ago, or almost, and, you know, I think about, like, maybe I'll have better friends in 3 years. You know? Friends who support me. Little crap it out.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.